The first day of a new semester at Jefferson High began with the usual noise. Lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking, and students laughing too loud just to be heard over the chaos. But when Miss Evelyn Hart, the new English teacher, walked in, the hallway went silent for a split second. There was something different about her. The way she moved, calm but commanding, her posture sharp like she'd been trained to march through storms. She wore a knee-length skirt, a soft grey blouse and simple low heels. Her hair was tied in a neat bun, and a faint scar ran along the side of her neck, almost invisible unless you looked closely. No one knew much about her. The staff said she'd just moved to town, lived alone near the edge of the forest, and never talked much about her past. But what no one could see, hidden beneath that skirt, was the mechanical rhythm of her left leg. A prosthetic, titanium military grade. She'd lost the real one years ago, far away from classrooms and books. Inside the classroom, her voice was soft but confident. "Good morning, I'm Miss Hart. I'll be your English teacher this semester." Most of the class murmured back a dull morning, not caring much. But in the back row sat a trio that made most teachers flinch. Tyler, Brent, and Casey, the bullies who ruled Jefferson High. Tyler, the leader, was tall with sharp blue eyes and a cruel smirk. Brent, his sidekick, had a way of laughing too loudly at anything mean. And Casey, the only girl in their pack, was sharp-tongued and fearless. They looked at Miss Hart and grinned. "Looks like we got a strict one," Tyler whispered. "Bet she breaks in a week." Miss Hart ignored the snickers and began writing on the board, the chalk squeaking slightly. Her handwriting was clean, strong, every letter like it had been practiced with discipline. "Today," she said, "we're talking about strength. Not the kind you show on the outside, but the kind that survives even when the world tries to break you." It was ironic, almost poetic. Tyler leaned back in his chair. "Yeah? Like you'd know anything about that." The class laughed. Miss Hart turned slowly, her eyes locking on him. For a second, even Tyler felt something in that look. Not anger, not fear, but experience. Like she'd seen things that made teenage arrogance look small. "I know exactly what that means, Mr. Tyler," she said quietly. "You'd be surprised what people carry with them." The laughter died. She went back to the lesson as if nothing happened, but that was the start. Tyler didn't like being checked, especially not by someone new. Over the next few days, the bullies tested her, notes left on her desk, whispers when she walked by, Brent mimicking her limp behind her back, though he didn't realize it was from a prosthetic. One afternoon, while the students were leaving, Miss Hart stayed behind, packing her bag. A faint metallic click echoed as she locked her knee brace into place. Tyler, walking past, noticed. He paused by the door, watching. "Wait, what's that sound?" he muttered. The next day he told the others. "She's got a fake leg or something," he whispered. "You can hear it when she walks. Watch next time." By the end of the week, the rumor had spread. Some students whispered pity, others joked. But Tyler's group, they saw it as a weakness. Friday afternoon. The classroom was empty except for a few students finishing assignments. Miss Hart was at her desk grading papers. Outside, rain had started tapping against the windows. Tyler, Brent, and Casey hung near the lockers, bored. "Let's see how tough she really is," Casey said, smirking. Brent grinned. "You mean her robot leg?" "Exactly," Tyler said. "Maybe she needs a reminder she's not untouchable." The plan was stupid, cruel, childish, and reckless, but that's what made it dangerous. After class, they waited until the halls emptied. Miss Hart stayed behind as usual, cleaning the board. Tyler knocked on the door. "Hey, Miss Hart, you left your phone in." The hall. She turned, confused. "I don't think..." And then Brent slipped behind her desk, pretending to look for something while Casey distracted her with a question about homework. Tyler bent near her chair, noticing the strap that attached to the prosthetic beneath her knee. It was sleek and dark metal, almost artistic. "Is this it?" Brent said, picking up her phone. But before she could respond, Tyler's curiosity turned cruel. He tugged slightly on the strap. "Don't touch that," she said sharply, stepping back. But that only fed his grin. "Oh, relax, it's just metal, right? What's it like, huh? You part robot?" Her face froze, not from fear, but something deeper. A memory flickered behind her eyes. Sand, smoke. the sound of an explosion, the heat of combat. "I said don't touch it," she repeated, her voice now firm. Tyler didn't listen. He yanked the strap hard, and the prosthetic leg detached slightly, slipping down before she caught it. The metallic clink echoed in the room. Casey gasped, half in shock, half in laughter. "Oh my God, she really is out!" Miss Hart's voice thundered, shaking the room. The trio froze. For a second they weren't looking at a teacher. They were staring into the eyes of someone who'd commanded soldiers, someone who'd once stood on battlefields. They left quickly, still laughing but uneasy. Brent whispered, "She looked like she was going to kill us." Tyler chuckled nervously. "What's she gonna do, chase us with her robot leg?" That night, Miss Hart sat alone at her kitchen table, the prosthetic leg detached beside her. She cleaned it carefully, her hands steady. On the wall behind her were medals: Navy Commendation Medal, Purple Heart, Operation Freedom Patch. Photos of her unit, a younger version of her, holding a rifle, smiling with teammates. She closed her eyes. The explosion still echoed in her dreams. The day she lost her leg and half her unit had carved something inside her that never healed. She'd promised herself. She'd build a new life, one that didn't need violence. But now, the old fire stirred again. "They don't know what that leg means," she whispered. "They don't know who I was." Her prosthetic gleamed under the kitchen light like armor ready to be worn again. The next Monday, the tension was thick. Everyone had heard what happened.